Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Adventures in Collecting YouTube channel, where we take a closer look at the toys we talk about on the show. And today we are celebrating what would have been Bruce Lee's 80th birthday. So this year, had Bruce Lee still been with us, he would have been celebrating his 80th birthday. And in order to celebrate that, we are taking a look at, courtesy of our friends at Diamond Select Collectibles, the yellow jumpsuit Bruce Lee Diamond Select action figure. So, you know, in that classic Game of Death, iconic yellow jumpsuit, we have Bruce Lee here. This is one of two figures sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios for Diamond Select. The other one is kind of the Fist of Fury shirtless Bruce Lee. You'll see him later. We'll do some comparisons with the other one. But today we are specifically taking a look here at the Game of Death yellow jumpsuit version. So before we open this up and take a closer look at it, let's take a quick look at the packaging. This is the same as we are used to seeing here with Diamond Select. So we have the nice big window. We can see the figure along with the accessories, and there are quite a few in here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional hands. We have the spinning nunchuck effect. We have 2 different other types of nunchucks, and then we have the screaming head. On the back we have some additional artwork here of Bruce Lee, and you know, and his effect pieces here, as well as you can see the credit information here. So again, another great design work by Yuri and sculpting by Gentle Giant. Yeah, so let's flip the view around and let's take a closer look at Bruce Lee. Alright, so here we have Bruce Lee himself in his iconic yellow jumpsuit. Let's take a quick look at the paint and detail here. The head sculpt that you get with that comes on here is excellent. You know, it's just kind of a neutral face. Looks very much so like Bruce. I mean, there's no doubt who we're looking at here. You know, it distinctively looks like Bruce. The yellow jumpsuit is nice and sharp. The paint applications are nice and clear. You can see the lines that run all through. You know, no real detail on his body, but you can see kind of the folds. You know, the folds in the sleeve, the folds in the back of the shirt here, you know, onto the pants, down into the calves. Everything is form-fitting the way that it was in the film. Very reminiscent of how it looks. The skin tone is nice. It is even throughout. You know, I'm not seeing too much in terms of messy paint. There is a little bit of a splotch here at the foot, you know, a splotch of black, but you know, nothing really to write home about. In terms of accessories, this figure does come with quite a lot of accessories. So we get an additional head sculpt here, and this head sculpt, as you can see, is the screaming head sculpt. This is the action one. So, you know, let's pop the head off here real quick, and we'll pop this on. You know, 1, 2, 3 comes right off. You know, no real issue there. The thing that's interesting is if you have the other Bruce Lee figure, the static head or the neutral head is the same on the other Bruce Lee figure. However, the screaming head is different. The thing that's really cool is the skin tone on the heads is identical, so you can very easily oh, you know what? I take that back. These heads are not swappable. All right, so if you have the other Bruce Lee figure, the peg holes on the heads are actually different. So I'm going to pop this one off just so that you can see here. But you can see the peg hole on the other Bruce Lee figure is a much smaller hole as opposed to the larger socket on the Game of Death version. So these heads are not swappable. So this is your screaming head as opposed to your kind of, excuse my impersonation here, but like your wah head on the other figure. All right, moving on to the rest of the accessories here. So As I mentioned, Bruce Lee does come with a series of accessories and hands. We do get the spinning nunchuck effect. You are getting very sleepy. Very sleepy. Really cool effect. The nunchuck fits right in his hand. No issues holding it. It is a heavy accessory, so you're gonna have to find that that center of balance. There we go. So you can see he holds it. It really makes him look like he's kind of frozen in motion there, which is awesome. Absolutely love that. One of the other effects you get, or other pieces you get, is just a simple nunchuck, and I love that they're all matching his his outfit here. They all have that jumpsuit color treatment. But again, we get a nice flexible middle here, so that way you can simply tuck the nunchuck under his arm and make him look like he's in that holding pose, which is awesome. And then the last one that we have here is we have the nunchuck that's in motion. And you can see he's holding the other nunchuck and it's mid-motion there, which is awesome. And then along with that, you do get a series of other hands. So you get fists, you get open hands, and then you kind of get the Bruce Lee posing hands. You can almost picture him doing kind of that boxing dance, right, as he's ready to come at you. But you do get fists for both hands, as you can see here. You get an open hand, which is the hands that we're on to begin with. You get a opposing hand for the other hand as well. Yeah, and then you get a little bit of a tighter grip. That's probably the one I should have used for the nunchuck, to be honest. But yeah, let's get into the articulation of Bruce here. So if you're familiar with Diamond Select Toys, nothing here is going to surprise you. So the head looks down about that much. If you try to tilt it up too far, it will pop off, but looks up about that much. He can look all the way around. You do get a little tiny bit of head tilt one way or another, which is a nice amount. Moving into the arms, you do have the butterfly joints. This arm is very stiff. Just be careful. This arm is not really agreeing with me right now, so would probably want to heat this up before I try to force it to move any further. But it does. You do get a nice amount out with it. You can recreate the poster and enter the dragon with it. But there are those miniature butterfly joints in there, and of course, all the way around. You do have the upper bicep swivel. Got a nice double jointed elbow that you get a nice amount of movement on. Again, when you're talking about a guy that's very limber and fighting, you need those arms to be able to move into those positions. So that's really good. And then you do, in terms of crunch, you get an upper ab crunch. Not a whole lot of movement there. So a little bit of a crunch forward. I'll move his arm out of the way. A little bit of a crunch forward. A little bit of a crunch back. You do get twisting there. And then you do get the waist swivel as well. With the legs on this figure, we do get drop down legs. So you can see they lower there. He does look kind of funny when he's standing like that with the hips dropped. But they're there to kind of give you a little bit more movement. But, you can get a decent, high karate kick out of them. They feel like they don't want to move anywhere past that. I think that's still within reason. It looks natural. He's not getting that kind of, Jean-Claude Van Damme kick. But he's still getting a good karate kick out of it. But no splits. Bruce Lee ain't doing the splits. He does kick forward, that much, which is great. And in terms of back, again, if you kind of mess with the thigh swivel, actually, back, that's about as far back as he's going. You can lean the other foot back to get him to really do a back kick, but that's about it. You do get the upper thigh swivel. This is a weird one where, it's good that you have it, but it's kind of strange too, because, when you twist the thigh, you're going to get that breakup in the line, which is not ideal, but it will help you, in terms of finding the center of balance in this figure and posing it. You do get a double jointed knee, which, he can pretty much, he's a little muscular, but, he is pretty much bending that knee all the way back. And then to the foot, you are getting a ankle pivot, or ankle swivel, as well as the ankle pivot, and then up and down. So you can get that foot completely flat, which is great. overall, this is a great figure. You know, I think it looks a lot like Bruce Lee. I think, you know, the sculpting and the design work on it are fantastic. You know, you can really get him into some kind of dynamic poses here that are very, you know, Bruce Lee-like. I'm going to put him up here next to the other Bruce Lee figure, so that way you can see them kind of posed next to each other, and then we'll compare them to some other figures. All right, so here are your two Bruce Lees. Something else of note with this Bruce Lee here, the one that we didn't open today, he comes with the exact same accessory set as this Bruce. Exactly the same. The only difference is the screaming head is a little more of a, like I mentioned, is you know, more of a different mouth, I should say. And the nunchucks, instead of having the yellow and black paint treatment, they look like standard nunchucks. So they're just black with the chain in the middle. But he does also get the swinging nunchuck and then the rotating nunchuck. So let's see how Bruce looks with some other figures. So, you know, everyone's favorite G.I. Joe Ninja. So there he is standing next to Snake Eyes. You could see that he is a little bit taller, but, you know, again, you start to crouch, you start to get these in some dynamic poses, and you can definitely have Bruce Lee and Snake Eyes go up against each other. Now, remember, Diamond Select figures are more of the 7-inch scale as opposed to the 6-inch scale. So that being said, you know, it is to be expected that they're taller than what Hasbro's producing. The other thing, though, that's interesting, if you have Mortal Kombat figures, if you have McFarlane Mortal Kombat figures, Johnny Cage is a little bit taller here than Bruce Lee. Let me get him into kind of a little bit more of a dynamic pose so that it's fair. But once you start posing them, that looks pretty decent. You know, Johnny and Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee would be an awesome fit for a Mortal Kombat game, if you ask me. You know, I love that they're including some of the more fictional characters from pop culture in the Mortal Kombat games, but I would love to see Bruce Lee in a Mortal Kombat game. Let us know in the comments below if you agree. But as you can see, you know, he scales really well with other fighting figures, the McFarlane Toys, Mortal Kombat figures, you know, DC Multiverse. They will all look great together. So let's flip this around and let's wrap it up. All right, so what can we say here about Bruce? It is an honor to help celebrate the legacy that this man has left on film, on martial arts, on pop culture. I mean, we've seen this suit countless times. I mean, Mezco just this year released one of their Gomez's in an outfit very much so paying homage to this. It's an iconic figure, and both this version of Bruce and the other one have their iconic moments to them and their iconic looks. And we're wishing Bruce Lee, wherever you are, a happy 80th birthday. Thank you for leaving a legacy, and it's awesome to finally have this version of you as an action figure. So that being said, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there so that way you don't miss videos like this. And while you're there, hit that little bell icon so that way you're notified when we post a new video. We're always looking for new fun things to show you guys and talk about and go into more detail with. So, you know, make sure you don't miss out. While you are following and subscribing to things, make sure you follow us here at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter, where we're constantly posting toy news, deals, reveals, information out there for the toy community to benefit from, so don't miss out on that. And then, of course, the podcast. So where it all started, we're constantly interviewing people from the toy industry, creators, designers, marketing people, you name it, as well as just talking more in depth about the news and different toy topics from all aspects of collecting. So you can find us at the link in the description below, or you could just search for Adventures in Collecting wherever podcasts are found. Once again, another big thank you and shout out to our friends at Diamond Select Collectibles who sent us Bruce Lee and gave us the opportunity to participate in the birthday celebrations of this icon. Stick around after the fade for a little bit more photography that we took with Bruce Lee, and as always, until next time.